Hello athletes, welcome to Ultraspice series. In this series, I will cover 5 different topics: cruise strategy, nutrition planning, car strategy, rider care, and my experience as a rider. So if you are planning to participate in a cruise supported multi-day event, these videos should help you a great deal. Today I'm going to share my experience as a rider of participating in 1750 kilometer category, a bit about my strategy, pre-race, and the race details all the way from Goa to Ooty. So before starting the event 2 weeks back, I did a 3 days long volume based block. Day one, I did Bangalore to Chikmagalur, covering 230 kilometer with 1800-meter elevation. Then day two, Chikmagalur to Madikere, exactly the route which I was supposed to get in the event. This I covered in 12 hours, 230 kilometer with an elevation of 2800 meters. And final day, Madikeri to Gudlur with 164 kilometer and elevation gain again of 2800 meters. And I had done Ooty climb last year when I was preparing for race across the west. So I was aware of what to expect after this training ride. My target for this event was to finish in around 100 hours, 2-3 hours here and there. At the end, I didn't achieve that. I was almost half a day delayed. Pacing perspective, I wanted to achieve a lot more consistency. In the past races, I have pushed a lot in the initial phase, and towards the end, it gets very hard for me to be on the bike, and I'm always left thinking how can I do this for longer distances. So I wanted to figure out that recipe which we as a team could use to race day in and day out. So repeatability was my most important objective. Keeping that in mind, I was very clear about sticking to my 3 point strategy. One, pacing strategy, not getting impacted by fellow riders, no heroics, sticking to my zone 2 pace and zone 3 on climbs. Sleeping strategy, while riding, I get very sleepy around 3 to 5 a.m. So we wanted to use that time to rest. And third one, nutrition strategy. Eat, drink as per my nutrition plan, minimum 350 calories per hour. Pre-race, 26th 2:30 p.m. was the race start time. We reached Goa on 23rd. I felt 24th would be the most important day to get rest and have maximum sleep. I wasn't very sure about getting sleep on 25th night. 24th, 25th was about very limited movement for me and carb loading as per my nutrition plan. So dal chawal and oats with fruits are my go-to food for that. Or you will learn more about nutrition on my video on nutrition plan in the USR series. Now coming to the race. So the idea was to get to Sagra, which is CP4 by 3 a.m. and get a 90-minute sleep. So this stretch went pretty much as planned. I was in zone 2 throughout, reached CP2 Karwar in 3 hours 30 minutes, which is 88 kilometer. Then another 3 hours 40 minutes to get to Honavar, which is again 91 kilometer. I was on top of nutrition, no issues. I started meeting fellow racers who were in self-supported category. Just before the Joke Falls climb, I took a 10-minute break, a bit of massage, food, and then started climbing. Felt good and strong on that climb. Reached Sagra by 2:45 a.m., which was approximately 15 minutes ahead of our planned schedule. Had recovery drink which was primarily protein and a bit of carbs, and then I slept for 90 minutes. Started from Sagra around 5 a.m. A little bit of drizzle at that point, had my raincoat on. After some point, had to wait for railway crossing. Target for this day was to reach Iriti, Kakkayangad, which is CP9 by 2 a.m. This distance is around 400 kilometer from Sagra to Kakkayangad with 5100 meter elevation. So this is the time when my saddle sores started to show up and the issue became increasingly intense. From Shivamoga to Chikmagalur on the highway, I wanted to be in aero for longer than what I could do. The highway itself had few divergences, and then there was a patch near Tarikere with no road. It was a small town. The town was buzzing, life seemed normal, but the entire stretch of that town was about controlling the bike. Slowing down here really affected my timing, but more than that, it impacted me mentally. After the Chikmagalur checkpoint, I changed my saddle. I tried a specialized saddle to distribute pressure from inner groins to sit bones, but that did not help. I use Infinity saddle, so the Infinity saddle, even with all the discomfort, was more comfortable than the specialized one. There were again two bad patches, one before Kodlipet, which was CP7, and a small detour before Madikeri because there was construction happening on main road. By the time I got to CP8, which is Madikeri, it was clear that I was going to miss my 2 a.m. goal of reaching CP9 or ADT. So we decided to stick to same sleeping time and change the stop point to Virajpet for my second 90-minute sleep break. Uh, we resumed around 4:45 a.m. after that sleep break and got to CP9, which is Kakkayangad, by 8 a.m. I saw a fellow rider, Elbin George, on the Irati descent. On a side note, I have huge respect for self-supported riders. There were some sections where I was thinking that is really scary to be here alone. Uh, Another thing, if you look at the map, that Iriti descent is around 16 kilometers, and it could feel that you can gain some speed, but that was also a very rough patch with heavy traffic. So that patch was also a lot about controlling your bike. Now, after Kakkayangad, next checkpoint was CP10, which is Kalpetta. Here I was mentally ready to handle another big climb, which was Wayanad one. That's also around 22 km with a 970-meter elevation gain. Like I mentioned earlier, I did this climb 2 weeks back, but I was weaker this time. I stopped and leaned on my aerobars and I was feeling really fatigued. But mentally, I told myself to get the climb done and then I will give myself a small break. I was also very irritated with myself because of saddle sores at this point. I was getting into that negative self-talk zone, uh, like things like I shouldn't be doing this if I can't fix my sores, even after having so much of riding experience, so on and so forth. So my posture started changing on bike. I was shifting a lot on the saddle by now, having a lot of dead spots, which was inefficient for sure. Just trying to find that position where I could continue to ride on. The problem is that once you get to that state, you will have more issues because of asymmetry, and it's an uphill battle from there. So Kakkayangar to Kalpeta was again a slower patch than expected. I got to Kalpeta around 2 p.m. We met another fellow rider, Sagar, who had reached some time back. At this point, I also got to know that this is where stage 1 ends for self-supported riders. They get a mandatory rest and then take off to Ooty the next morning. Thinking if I could get fellow riders till Gudlur, then I can find some motivation to chase them. But that did not happen. Kalpetta to Gudlur was one of the toughest phases from a speed point of view. I struggled a lot to get to Gudlur. We took a break at around 5 p.m. in the beautiful tea gardens, the most scenic yet lowest point in the entire race. And I think it was the lowest point because mentally I was ready for the Ooty climb, but just getting to Gudlur was not easy. I'm much more comfortable doing straight climbs than rollers, which add up to significant elevation gain. This stretch of 68 km had total elevation of 1370 meters. We got to Gudlur around 6 p.m. Took a small 5 minutes break before the big Ooty climb. At this point, more members from Rest Crew joined me in the car as they felt this it would be the hardest phase.
You are audible. Awesome, awesome. हमने इसको उठा लिया. Yes is in our bag. हाँ भैया.
Yash sitting with Red Bull that he'll be giving to Pra. That's Dilip driving the car. And our follow car is coming from behind. And that's Pra doing the Ooty climb.
I honestly enjoyed the Ooty climb. I stopped just once near Paikara for lights and a warm jacket, but overall it went really smooth. Got to Ooty before midnight, and then next sleep break was planned in Gudlur. Here also there was a conversation related to pushing till Kalpetta or somewhere before Kalpetta. I was afraid to attempt that. That Kalpetta to Gudlur stretch had left a mental scar. So then it was all about descending till Gudlur and having a rest break. That descent wasn't easy either. I think it's one of the most dangerous parts of ultra cycling when you descend in deprivation mode at night and in cold. It's a perfect recipe for some disaster. So my crew constantly chatted with me more to keep me alert. I was also telling myself to get this done and have some well deserved rest. Overall, it was around 60 hours in the race. We had 60 hours left to get back to Goa. And at this point, I was late by 7 to 8 hours, according to original plan. Takeaways. Here are my key takeaways from this stretch of the ride. Bike fit. For long distances, bike fit is most important for any rider. Saddle sores continue to remain my biggest blocker to a smooth finish or riding. So if I want to plan longer rides, my bike fit need to be 100% dialed in. Mental strength. I think I can become mentally stronger to handle unprecedented situations. Even after doing so many ultra endurance events, I often tend to lean in a negative zone if an unseen situation slows me down. As endurance riders, we need to remember that navigating through tough situations is very much part of the whole game, and we need to prepare ourselves for the unseen, physically and mentally. Downhill advantage. Make sure you take full advantage of downhills, especially on rolling terrain, and don't use those stretches as rest points. And don't coast. I am getting better at it, but still, I can improve on maximizing on downhills so that I'm more efficient on uphill, especially on those rollers. Let's stay connected and keep learning from each other. Share this if you feel this might help someone.